This story comes to you from the subreddit Am I the Asshole? Written by UnhappyRip2602. Am I the asshole for asking my fiancée to cover up her feminine products? Posted from a burner account as my fiancé is an occasional Reddit user. I, 32-year-old man, have been living with my fiancée, 27-year-old woman, for the better part of a year. Overall, cohabitating has gone incredibly well. We are both meticulous with our chores and we generally communicate better than most couples we know. However, we have lately had a disagreement that's difficult to settle. My fiancée leaves her used period products at the top of open trash cans in bathrooms that guests use, and she does not like that I ask her to cover the discarded products. I'm not generally grossed out by the menstrual cycle or by blood. I worked in healthcare for most of my 20s. I'll pick up pads or tampons for my fiancé without feeling awkward, and this may be TMI, but I'm not opposed to period sex. Good for you, guy. It just doesn't faze me. However, neither I nor our occasional guests should expect to see period-soaked tampons complete with cloths every time that we use the bathroom. It's jarring seeing the bloody scene in an otherwise clean bathroom without warning. I have tried to come up with minimally invasive solutions, such as my fiancée wrapping her products in toilet paper before discarding them, as past partners have done, or even purchasing a closed-top trash can. My fiancée firmly rejects both of these plans, saying that I, and by extension our guests, shouldn't get to complain about having to see the aftermath. I'm sympathetic to her experiences, but at the same time, her response feels retributive. On one recent occasion when guests were coming over for a game night, I pulled some extra toilet paper and gently laid it on top of the trash, covering the bloody products before they arrived. My fiancé noticed this and confronted me after the guests left, accusing me of being ashamed of her and of going against what we had previously discussed. Taking a step back, this shows that she is intentional about the visible products, enough so that she checked to see if they were still in place. At this point, it feels spiteful. Am I the asshole? What would you folks suggest that I do in this situation? Even an intervention that requires no effort on her part, the closed-top trash can, was rejected with prejudice. I love my fiancé, but what could have been a small discussion is becoming a mountain of conflict. Okay, I'm with the OP on this one. Let me preface it by saying that period and any other bodily function is very, very natural. You don't have to be extra grossed out by period than you would normally be by poop or pee or any other fun excrements that come out in a bathroom. That said, just like how I would not want anyone to look at my poop smear toilet paper, I don't want anyone looking at my period-soaked tampons or pads either. In India, if you are to leave out period-soaked pads or tampons lying there in the bathroom, the next time you visit the bathroom, you're going to have some nasty, creepy, probably poisonous guests creeping on top of those period-soaked items. Because it has blood and it is going to emit some bloody odor, it is going to attract insects, especially in a hot and humid climate. And for the fiancé's point that if she has to go through the monthly ordeal, the OP and by extension their guests shouldn't get to complain about having to see the aftermath. I mean, yes, you are going through the monthly ordeal, but leaving the products out for your fiancé or for your guests like it is some sort of a bloody welcome basket is not going to put them in a mood to be very supportive of you. And I also don't understand the end goal here. The fiancé is not complaining about some accident on the bed or some accidental spill that you forgot to wipe or the occasional pad you leave out without wrapping in a toilet paper. What the OP asks here is very common and very justified. Like I said, you don't want to look at somebody's poop smeared toilet paper, so why would you want to look at somebody's blood-stained tampon? That is where I stand. The OP is not the asshole. The fiancé is definitely the asshole. Not for embracing her period, but for forcing it on her fiancé and her guests in a very gross and sort of unhygienic manner. Let us see what the comments say. The top comment has a couple of awards, and it is by Wandering Storm. Not the asshole, gross talk incoming. As a woman, I believe women should not be ashamed by having a period. But I akin disposal of my period products to disposal of, say, the contents of used toilet paper. I would not wish to leave dirty used toilet paper in my wastebasket to be seen by the next bathroom user. No one wants to see my wad of poo or pee paper, but I can flush my toilet paper. Problem solved. I feel the same way about my period products. It's used, it's dirty, it has an odor. Some people are indeed grossed out by it, even if it's a natural, normal part of a woman's life. Heck, Even I'm a little grossed out by my period, and I have been having one for 30 plus years at this point. Oh my god. Even in my own bathroom, that I don't share with people, I cover my products when I toss them. I either wrap them in the new products wrapper or use a bit of toilet paper. That she noticed that you cover the products shows she has understanding that leaving them uncovered is a problem for you or others, and she seems like she's willfully not covering them for some reason, which is weird. Yes, see, that brings up the same point of, like the fiancé wanting some sort of control. It is like she is exhibiting a weird power play by forcing you and your guests to look at her period stained tampons and pads. I mean, I'm not sure what her end game is here, but that comment nicely sums up what I've been trying to say. The next story is also from the subreddit Am I the Asshole by Simnamonyeti. I'm pretty sure I butchered it, but here goes. Am I the asshole for not waiting for my sister before helping my niece with her first period? I work from home, 28 male, and sometimes watch my niece 11 when she stays over if my sister 34 has to work late. Yesterday, my sister dropped my niece off and we followed our usual routine and hung out like always till it was time for her to go to bed. A few hours later, as I was just starting to go to sleep, my niece yelled for me from the bathroom. When I came to the door, she sounded panicked and told me she thinks she has blood down there. I asked if it could be her period, and she said she never had one before. I called my sister once, but she didn't pick up and I didn't want to disturb her at work by spam calling. I was freaking out and called my girlfriend. She said she was on her way over, and I gave my phone to my niece so they could talk. I just got a towel so she could shower, and my girlfriend came over with the goods. Niece and girlfriend talked and everything calmed down. When my sister got off of work and came to get my niece / take her to school, I told her what had happened and she got mad at me saying I overstepped and I should have called her, and when I said I did, she said I should have waited for an answer. That went on for a little bit till she left. Should I apologize? Not the asshole, OP. Under the circumstances, you handled it as well as you could. You tried calling your sister, and when you didn't get an answer, you reached out to the next possible option. One thing I would suggest is you could have sent a message to your sister so that you didn't hold off that information from her for that long, and she might have seen that you had called once but you didn't call again and there was no message from you, so she might have assumed that it was not an emergency. But if she had read the message, she might have taken a few minutes to call you or come check in on her daughter. That would have been a good heads up for her. And once your girlfriend was there, I hope you were still with your niece and it was not just your girlfriend and your niece talking, because depending on how long you have been with your girlfriend, she might be a totally new person to your niece, so I'm not sure what their relationship is. But just based off of what you have written here, I would say the situation was handled as well as it could be in the absence of the mother. And one other thing is, given your niece's age, she is 11. It is pretty standard for girls to start their period around that age. Your sister could have prepared her a little bit more, and she could have given a goodie bag to be stashed in your bathroom so that if her daughter did have her period when she's staying with you, you don't have to run around looking for supplies. A little bit of preparation from your part, or mainly her mother's part, could have made the situation much easier for the little girl. But overall, again, not the asshole, you did the best given the circumstances. Let's go to the comments here. The first comment, the top comment is by Kolo. The top comment is by Wild Ticket 1413. Not the asshole. Speaking as a woman, you handled the situation extremely well. You didn't have time to wait for your niece's mother. You contacted the first supportive female you could reach, which was the right thing to do. Your girlfriend was able to quickly help your niece, woman to woman. Well done, sir. I agree with that, because what would your sister suggest that you should have done? If she was not reachable, you cannot leave your niece bleeding out there in the bathroom all by herself because you're not able to reach her mother. So it's very valid trying to look for somebody else to help. This comment highlights how it's a milestone for the mother as well. The comment is by Laughing's Better. Your sister needs to quit blowing off phone calls if she wants to be there for all milestones. I'm glad your niece had someone caring there to help her, as your sister should be. What did your sister expect? For your niece to sit on the toilet all night until she bothered to return the call? Not the asshole. That sums it up, OP. Not the asshole, and great job taking care of your niece. Hope you all have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye from your Desi girl.